Hi, this is Dr. David Greene, CEO of the U.S. Rehab Network. Today's topic is the new paradigm for avoiding an addiction relapse. Let me just give a little backstory as to how this new paradigm has come into play for helping avoid relapse to addiction. Now, a few things. In Vietnam, 20% of the troops had a hardcore addiction to heroin. So the thinking from the U.S. government was that when all these troops come home, when the war is over, we're going to have this huge heroin problem in America. Well, that never happened. All right, less than 5% of those who had the addiction problem in Vietnam ended up continuing with it in the U.S. The rest didn't become an issue. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, the second thing is that decades ago there was a study done with rats. And what they did with the rats is they put them in a cage by themselves and they gave them two options. One was two water bottles. One had just water in it. The other had water with heroin infused in it. Now, when the rats drank water from each of them, they preferred the one with the heroin in it. You know, big shock, right? And they kept drinking it and they died. Over and over again. They did this with rats, and they all died. Okay? Now, decades later, a researcher said, you know what, I'm going to try that study again, but this time I'm going to do it differently. What he did was, instead of just having the rat in the cage, he basically made it what he called a rat park. He had other rats in there, he had all kinds of cool play stuff for the rats, he had a whole ecosystem environment that the rats could do things to play, and then have food to eat, and all these things. And then he also had the two water bottles, one with the water in it, and the other with water infused with heroin. Guess what happened? None of the rats died. So it's not just the fact that they had the heroin there. It wasn't like they liked it so much that that's all they did was drink that and die. So when you look at these two things, what it makes you realize is that there are other factors at play. So the new paradigm for helping to avoid a relapse is what is termed bonds and connections. So when a person goes into rehab for the problem of addiction, then what needs to happen during that time and afterwards are achieving bonds and connections. It doesn't mean that they have to actually form the bonds and connections while they're in a rehab center. They just have to develop the capability of developing those as they transition out. So I made a little circle here. So here's the patient. Could be you, could be a loved one, whoever. Then I made a bunch of spokes coming out of the circle, and I probably missed one, which is why I put the question mark here. So when a person comes out of rehab, there are various connections that he or she can make. Family, all right? Now, it may be a strained relationship because it could be the 5th time, whatever, that somebody's in addiction, but it is, an important connection. Okay, so that can be a crucial help with preventing a relapse, is that connection to family. Because when you have a problem in life, whatever it may be, there are only so many people who are going to be there for you. I like to use the analogy of a flat tire. When you have a flat tire, who are you going to call to help you if you can't fix it yourself? Are you going to call one of your followers on Twitter? Are you going to call one of your Facebook friends? No, you're going to call someone who's a real friend or family. Okay, so family, aftercare. Your aftercare program is key. That is a connection that can help you do away with your old life and continue to move forward. It could be a 12-step program. It could be somebody from the program that you went to and left that you keep in touch with to help stay away from the triggers. All right, friends. I'm not talking about the friends that helped you get into rehab with regards, not helped you, but are part of the reason you ended up going to rehab. From either peer pressure or your dealer or whatever the case may be. I'm talking about the friends who are going to help keep you out of rehab moving forward. Okay? So charity, it's not a must, but it can be very fulfilling. All right, so what I'm talking about are reasons that people will want to get out of bed every day and not go to the bar or go to one of the old places that help them trigger back into the old ways. Work. It's very important for the person afterwards to become self-sufficient. Doesn't have to be, a white-collar position, blue-collar, whatever the person's abilities are. If it's fulfilling and helps them get out of bed every day and sustain themselves, it's perfect. Fitness, whether it's going to the gym, playing soccer, whatever the case may be, it can help spark up the endorphins and keep you fit and sane. Can be very helpful. And then I also put hobbies down here as well. It could include anything that you like to do. So fill in the blank on that one. But anyway, these all add up to bonds and connections that effectively can, like I said, make it very satisfying for somebody to get out of bed in the morning and not have a thought process of being depressed and end up going back to the previous lifestyle. That's the new paradigm. So with US Rehab Network, we have partnered with rehab centers around the country that utilize that new paradigm and help patients to work towards fulfilling these spokes around the circle, having the capability to form those bonds so that moving forward in life is not going to entail, most likely, any of the relapses when those triggers come around. So visit us online at usrehabnetwork.com. There are a ton of videos and an online library of different options for treatment. And then call us at 888-598-0909 anytime.